What's up, HVAC crew? Dennis here with HVAC R&D. We have another good show coming tonight. We've got a guest on. Rhydon is pumping out some guests. Of course, this one comes to us from Instagram, as always. If you're not on Instagram as an installer or technician, you're missing out. This is a good one here. We're going to get into some install stuff, some pride on your work. So without further ado, let's get it going.
Yeah, come on.
Should have closed these blinds. I'm at this hotel and all these people outside are looking at me. I just realized that. I'm on the first floor and they're like out by the pool here having a
This
beer.
guy's CIA. He's talking on the computer.
Oh yeah, I got headphones in. I got this mic. I just realized that. They're all out there hanging out.
Oh, gosh.
That'll be all right.
So what's up, HVAC crew? Welcome back again. As always, thank you for listening. We appreciate it. We love building this community and getting to know more of you guys each and every day. So thank you. Reach out, talk to us, interact. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at HVACREND. TikTok's working, and like I said, I'm getting ready to spam the crap out of everybody's LinkedIn because I finally set that up. But I've got a good 61 episodes I need to post on there. So sorry for the spam. Also find us on Facebook, and then our link trees in the bio of our Instagram if you ever need to find anything else. And that also leads you to our HVAC R&D swag shop. Down to a few black truckers and a couple of charcoal and whites, and then the new flat bills. So get in there while you can before we start ordering another new round of hats. Also,
You got any podcast pants coming?
So my wife actually unpacked a pair of potential podcast pants that I was trying to sneak by you as a surprise.
We've had some guests on the show that were like, look, if y'all put some joggers on there, then we'll buy them. But to get our logo on some joggers, like, no kidding, these pants would be like, they'll be $100.
Yeah.
And they won't be Lululemon, right?
No. No.
They're going to be
Bring
like
me something nice, though. We'll take care of it.
be like some Champion, which actually...
Champion is now expensive again.
Right?
So, also, big thanks to Lance and the Solder Rail crew. Thank you so much for pushing us and helping plug this. We got your boy on the show tonight, a little foreshadowing. And then also, make sure to check out HVAC Tactical. We've got a discount code that will drop a little later in the show. I'm not going to give it away just yet. But it's thanks to our guest that we've got it. And also make sure to go vote HVAC R&D for your favorite podcast at the 2023 Tactical Awards.
Toot.
Toot. Sorry, we're partial. If you don't want people to vote for you, then why are you asking?
That's right.
But yeah, go check out Ben's stuff. He's got some great swag. As always, HVAC Tactical shirt, HVAC R&D hat, good to go. And with that, let's bring out someone that I've actually been interested to talk to for a whole time because I love watching what he does every single day. And we love watching the pride he takes in his work. So let's welcome to the show the one and only Mike Flynn, Mr. Flintstone 1.
What's up, everybody?
Nice walkout song. Nice walkout song, Flynn.
Very nice. Very nice. Don't worry, it will be in the show.
It's heavy enough.
I know.
I'm pumped.
But
I'm
it's still
actually
tasteful.
So pumped.
Right? It is. So what's up, man? What you've had going on? You're I feel like I've known you for like 5 years. It's first time we've talked, right? But
Yeah.
I guess you get that a lot, right? Everybody, we're all tight on Instagram, but it's just different, right? No, we don't get to meet a lot.
Yep. And
It's the
it's
generation
tough.
we got now.
Yeah, but Instagram, let's see. I made probably two of the best friends that in, my life, really, on Instagram. And it's absolutely insane. And they live nowhere near me. So it's very
Right.
cool.
Yep. It's the truth.
So take us through. I mean, Instagram's obviously a big part of your day to day, right? I mean, that's a full-time job. It's pretty much the elephant in the room, right? On this show, like we gotta go ahead and talk about that. We'll hit that, and then we'll get into what we're drinking on. That's what we do on this show. We kind of start out with something, but take us through a little bit of how you got going on Instagram, man. Like, how did that start?
I'll take it back to the beginning. So I had one, I started Instagram when it was like first starting up, right? I just posted, like silly pictures, life going on, food and gym stuff and whatever. And then I started posting some work here and there. And I was getting feedback on it. I was like, okay, so this could possibly be a thing. And then I just started posting more and more work, with, the other stuff mixed into that. And it just grew from there, really. Like back in, I think it was like, I want to say 2015, I hit like 1,500 followers and I was like, so
now, is this
excited.
the same one you got now?
Oh yeah.
The same one?
Same exact
Okay.
one. Yep. I mean,
Okay.
I got 3,000 posts on Instagram. So
Right.
yeah. So it was 15. I was like so happy for 1,500 posts and 1,500 followers and stuff like that. And it just grew from there. Everybody, constructive criticism like out the wazoo. It was awesome. And then it was building and building and building. And one of the first. Like, obviously, HVAC Reaver guy has been on forever. Same thing.
Yep.
Howard Mechanical, Alex. He is one of the, huge inspirations since, day one. Mechanical Hub, obviously, Eric, Aaron Bond, Marty Pliers. Like, all these guys helped me really segue. Like, I was doing some clean work because I had, great teacher. And then he's on Instagram, too. His name is Bart. His Instagram is Hybrid Bart with like a dot in there somewhere, but he was one of my mentors in like work. But Instagram just, after seeing these guys and putting out what they were putting out, I was like, damn, I need to step on my game. So it was just, took off from there. It was actually, a setting point for where I actually, took those things to elevate.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how we always say on the show, like when I was in the field doing installs, like, you take a picture here and there. For one, we'd always forget to get the before picture.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I swear I always forgot to get that. We'd walk in and be like, God, look at this horrible install. And we would just start ripping it out.
Yeah.
And we'd get done and take a picture, and I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, that's great and all, but what did it – we forgot the before picture.
Mm-hmm.
I got all these pictures of these installs on my phone that I never posted back then because it wasn't a thing. It's like I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
And I look now, and I'm like, man, I missed that. God, I missed the whole boat there. But it's awesome to just sit back and look at – I mean, of course, I'm just an HVAC nerd junkie. I can sit here and look at a furnace coil AC like in an attic and just swipe through pictures of people. And I'm like, does anybody else look at this? Like, am I seriously just swiping through? You know what I mean?
We all do.
And it's a sweet thing to be able to do that. It's, my wife's sitting there looking over, she's watching a cooking video and she looks over and I'm swiping through. She's like, are you seriously still looking
What are you watching over there?
a furnace coil AC? I'm like, yeah. I mean, what? Yeah. I mean, look at this ductwork right here. And she's like, I don't care about that. Like, come on. Yeah, it's like I got this whole nother world to look at now because I'm not in the field anymore, but I miss it. I mean, the more I look at these pictures, I'm like, man, I just want to go do a change out tomorrow. But, you do that for about 2 days and you're like, I'm
done. I'm done. And it's super cool because what I scroll through on Instagram is I'm looking for inspiration, right? I also look at things and zoom in, like what's going on here, what's doing this. And, I'm just looking for something that I can pick up because that's what the trade is, right? You're given someone to learn from and you pick up what you want to pick up and then make it your own, right? But now we have thousands of people to do that from instead of one. It's amazing. It's
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just had one guy in the shop that was good, and that was your guy, right?
Yep.
I mean, or you maybe had a couple people with some, had a couple pictures on their phone, but now it would take me forever to do a change out after looking at all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were like, man, we knocked that out in 4.5 hours. And we talked to Jeff about this, right? Like, we've all been there, like. We got to get this knocked out so we can get to the house. And you do it right, and you do it, you do it clean to a point. Yeah, I mean, I can remember when we were like, I did my change outs in Georgia, and mastic was huge there, right? Mastic on everything.
Yep.
Insulated on the outside, duck wrap, and then we'd mastic everything. And we got to the point where we were putting like painter's tape, mastic, and then pull it back off, and we thought that was like
the bee's knees.
Like, this is a big deal, right? Like, we'd take a bunch of pictures of that, show my wife, and she's like, I don't.
That's a straight line. Cool, good for you.
It's a straight line. Yeah, you can't brush that on there, right? You gotta. But yeah, I mean, now if I was to do a change out now, I wouldn't even know where to start because I got all this in my head.
Yeah.
From looking at Instagram, and it'd be like an 8-hour change out for, a coil AC. But that's cool though, man. I love how this trade is going like that. It is the king of trades, HVAC. I mean,
always.
I know Ben was Ben's last show with Rachel. He went down that road, right? HVAC guys are plumbing and electrical.
Absolutely.
I mean, it just is what it is, right?
Which, speaking of that, I can't wait to get into hearing, or I can't wait to talk to you about boilers, just because we don't see near as much of that down here, and it fascinates me. My dad was a crazy boiler guy, and my brain just doesn't work like his.
To be fair, a lot of people's brains don't work like that.
Like things I saw him work on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, there's a shit ton of piping going on there. Which I think makes it look cooler. A lot, it's not as complicated as it looks.
Correct.
But it does look cool for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's get this out of the way. Ryan, you got anything good you're drinking tonight?
Well, I already posted a picture of it, so I didn't bring a meal in a can. I brought a classic hitchhiker.
I got a Dos Equis. That's all the hotel had here, so that's where I'm at.
There you go.
There you go.
So I grabbed 2 Dos Equis from the bar. They're not twist off. I stroll up here, and I had to do the old
whacking on
put the bottle on the edge of the table here. And,
yes.
Oh yeah.
We need to order our bottle openers, D.
Yeah, I mean,
Things are going to be sweet.
I used to could do it with my ring, but now I wear one of these rubber rings because I kept getting that caught on everything working. All right, so yeah, let's go. I mean, let's get into a little boiler action. I mean, what do you see up there a lot? I mean, obviously on Instagram, you're doing a lot of that. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's everything, and it's absolutely awesome. So, you get guys that are strictly hydronic, and really that's a lot, and it's only really, 20% of the U.S. is, hydronic boilers, and steam even less. But you guys that are strictly hydronic, and then, I'm fortunate enough to live in New Jersey where most of the steam trickled over from New York. So we see a lot of steam boilers in residential applications. So, and, wrenching is one of my favorite things.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, some of the only wrenching around I've done is the guy I went to work for. He came from new construction, and he would gas, cast iron or black iron pipe, just residential. You come in with 3/4 and you hit a couple drops with half inch, and you're done.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went to work for him, we got the first winter, it got slow, and we didn't have any HVAC. And I went to school for that, and he's pulls out the threader, the giant rigid threader, and we started gassing 3 and 4 story townhomes downtown Atlanta. We were coming in with 2-inch.
Yep. And
these townhomes were high end. There was 10 lanterns, 4 fireplaces, every appliance was gas. It was a nightmare, and it was all hard pipe. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for nothing right now, but at the time I was like, dude, I mean, I want to change an inducer motor. What are we doing? I'm going home just whipped.
Yeah.
I mean, 2-inch, when you're tightening 2-inch pipe all day, man, your shoulders are trash.
Oh yeah.
Of course, he was not a big tool junkie, so we didn't have the good stuff. I mean, the threader was nice, but I'd come home. My wife's like, "What have you been doing? Working in a chimney all day?" I mean, but yeah, I learned a lot. I mean, I look like I've been crawling around a coal mine all day, but we got our little thing right. He'd start drilling all the holes, and I started taking a bunch of measurements, and you just go to town, right?
Yeah.
But you get a leak. I mean,
you
get a leak on that 2-inch when you're done. There is no. You don't just tighten it, right?
Nope.
I mean, you're in the middle of a run.
Cut it out, thread it in place. Listen.
Right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. I've been there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching all the tools you're using on there on Instagram, man, and it's
incredible.
The tool game. I mean, let's go over the tool game a little
bit. Just from when I first started in the trade, and that's 14 years now. It's been crazy because I started off still using corded stuff, and obviously rigid 700 first. First thing I learned how to do was solder in the trade, and the second one was thread pipe. So
right.
Yep. So soldering, obviously, that's not going away anytime soon. And then you get the 700, which is kind of offset with the Mega Press now. But yeah, I mean, and I've been pressing for 14 years. So we were doing, 3 and 4-inch in hotels where you only have a certain amount of time to get that, get the water back on, and they need it repaired. Right. And you're like, okay, I'm not waiting for this whole building to drain. So we're going to press it, semi-live, drain it back. But yeah, it's the evolution of tools has been absolutely incredible. They have something for everything.
Yeah, I've I've seen, because we'll do counter days and stuff like that. When we were in, when I was in distribution with Rhydon, the reps would come out. You got flare fitting on one end, and then it just pushes in like a shark bite on the other. For your mini split jobs. I'm kind of glad on that, especially coming from tech support. I'm kind of glad on the mini split side that if you're doing mini splits every day, man, you might as well invest in that. All that technology. Flares just suck. I mean, flares suck, man.
If you're doing it every day, it's time consuming, and you're like, oh, I got.
Well, there's too much human error in there.
Correct.
Right? There's too much. I feel like I could make a good flare, but it's good till it's not.
Yep.
It's not. It's behind a wall, right? It's behind a sheetrock wall, or it's 2 stories up in a So
and you already put the line height cover back on, and you already pressure tested it, and you already took your ladder away. Yeah. Oh yeah. I know.
Well, and it usually doesn't show up for a lot of the service calls I got, because I did tech support for a mini split brand, and it was 6 months. It was always less than a year.
Okay.
I'd get the code, and it was a low refrigerant pressure, and it's that vibration, right? And it's usually that double flare on the head, just the regular head, because you got the 2. I used to do a class where I'd bring in like this 2-foot ladder in a class, and I'd have guys go up 1 step on the ladder, and I'd give them like a 2-foot piece of copper with 2 flare fittings, two wrenches. Most guys use like a pair of channel locks and like a 9-inch adjustable wrench, and it's too small. Everything's too small.
Yeah.
And I'm like, tighten this all you can, right? You can't hold on to nothing.
Yeah. Yep.
And they go to town on it, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's tight. And we'd put a torque wrench on it in the class, and he'd be nowhere near it, right? Because, you got to torque it right. But, and it would leak. I mean, that's going to leak. It may not leak that day, but
eventually.
I think I just looked at the pictures of that class the other day. I was trying to go back and find a bunch of your training pictures I had in case you needed some of them at some point for something.
Yeah, because you're always on a ladder, and you're not. When you got the one coming off the head, it's double, so you can't hold on to nothing. You got no leverage.
Well, let's get into this. So, how do you feel about Nylog?
So, I've had a lot of really good tech guys that were factory tech reps, engineers, blah blah blah, that would say, okay, Nylog's fine.
Yep.
But they would also say, torque it to spec.
Correct.
And you won't have a problem.
Yeah.
If you got a good flare, right? There's that. There's of course, we got some good tools out there now that'll make a good flare, like a perfect flare.
Yeah.
I was just a block guy. I mean, I still got that in my bag because I learned on it. That's how I learned in school.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're like, look, push the copper up this high. This is what it is. This is how you make it. Don't forget to put the nut on first. Right. Don't go too far because it'll split, or too thin, So, so I built a running system on a cart of just a 110, regular head mini split. And this thing went all over North Carolina. It fell out of the truck. It fell down in the truck, and I don't know, 3 or 4 years riding, I guess.
Kicking, man.
And all I did was just torque it. And this thing, I mean, they're not going through that at a house. I mean, this thing's been pushed on fell off a box truck, like all kinds of shit. So, it never had a leak, and I just torqued it to spec. Now, when I started putting in mini splits, did I torque them to spec? We didn't even know what the hell that was. We didn't even have a torque wrench, right? So I tightened it like I work on cars, and
it's
like, yeah, that's tight.
It feels tight. It feels tight. Yeah.
The copper starts to turn. It's good.
Yeah, okay, yeah, done. Yeah.
And I would go back to them. I mean, it might be a year later. It might be 6 months. But yeah, there's Nylog. The other one I like is it Flare Right? It's the little purple,
the purple
drops
things
on there.
Yep.
I don't have a lot of experience with that in the field, but I've
Me
had
neither.
guys that say they don't mind it. I mean,
Yeah, I've heard some good reviews and some bad. So as with everything. So
I still think there's too much human error, right?
yeah.
I think press fittings or slide on. I mean, what do you think? Where are you at there?
I love press. Obviously, I love press everything. So, but again, there is a time and place until the manufacturers get on board with where the industry is going and where we're going as techs.
Yep.
Then there's always going to be a braze joint.
And I,
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to stub it out
Yeah.
to accordingly.
Yep.
Like,
And then and some days I'm like, okay, I already have the torch here. Let me just swage it out and then put it in instead of using, a press coupling. So there are some days I feel like it, some days I don't, and it all works the same.
well, I like brazing, right? A lot of guys just like brazing.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just a fun, cool element. Especially if you're in install. I mean, if you're just, I don't know, you can't go wrong. I mean, how many units have you torn out like that were 30 years old and they're brazed in, right?
Oh, yeah.
You ain't got no leaks on that.
Nope. Still full.
What's the lifespan on these press fittings?
I think
Have we had enough time? I mean,
I think they give
How long
a
have they been
15-year
out?
warranty.
okay.
Yep. But
Yeah, I think they're fine, but I mean, we haven't had the. Maybe our kids will bitch about them. I mean, I don't know.
like, Dad, I went to one of your units, man. Got these press fittings on there. You bum.
You got that shark bite crap on there. It's like the. I'm trying to think who makes the one for the mini split where you can you just it's already pre-flared. You tighten
Flare
it up
Right.
and you just
Isn't it Flare Right?
no. You can
RLS.
just slide it.
RLS has their flare by press. They make a flare and a
Push in.
Yeah, flare
So flare
by
on
push
one
in.
end and push in.
Yep.
Like
Which
that fitting right there. Like I guess I mean they're saying it's like 30,000 psi rated.
Yeah.
But
Which is insane.
we'll see.
Yeah. I just think that there needs to be a better, can't they re-engineer that or something? I guess they're not going to now.
They've had a lot. They've been really busy having to re-engineer a whole bunch of other stuff. They at least know those things work. Oh man,
Ain't that the truth?
we've got so
Now,
much stuff changing. It's crazy.
I was gonna say, is your company? Do y'all? I know I see y'all. Y'all look stoked on y'all's meetings. I don't know what day that is, but Jeff usually throws or somebody posts a picture where y'all are all sitting there and y'all all look hungover. It looks like it's just like, man.
It's funny because the boss just took a picture today, and everyone's sitting there listening to what's going on, not smiling
you're
for a
zoned in.
picture. Yeah.
Right.
So
That picture, I see it on there, and I'm like, God, do y'all talk about the changes coming aboard, or do y'all care? Or I mean,
nothing. Actually,
still got to put it in.
Yeah,
right?
I just saw the whole addendum on SEER 2, but we haven't brought that up at work yet. So
Yeah, we've been dealing with that since we started looking at it February. Most of it, Dennis, I would say.
Yeah. Well,
That's literally what I've been doing all day because I've got a meeting with a customer on Friday that I've got to go through every bit of it with.
and on Mike's end, right? Like, I mean, he's not. I mean, I don't guess you're selling it to a customer, right? You show up, you're like, oh, sweet, it's a SEER 2 heat pump, it's 2-stage, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It just you just
put it in as normal. Really,
it's 410A, you just roll with it.
But see, now everything you're gonna have to have a different dang app for every different brand to turn it on. Because everything's going, outside of base models, most everybody else is mid-tier and up is all going to be Bluetooth commissioned. At least I know that's
I've
what's
worked
coming on Ream side.
I've done the Amana with the Cool Cloud or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Where you're connected, you put in the code. It's great when you don't have service in the basement and you can't get on the app. But that I had really no problem. It's most of the time, like 99% of the time, it recognized absolutely everything, and I didn't have to change anything. So
nice,
it was perfect.
Right.
And I'm sure they're making that better.
Yeah, I think on the and I think y'all are Ream guys.
Ream, Train, we put in everything.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
I
think on the Ream side.
EVCOM? We'll come back to that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of those they're trying to get to where it's a QR code. It's non-Wi-Fi, non-cell service, right? It's a direct, just between the board and the phone.
Yeah,
like
straight Bluetooth connection.
And really, they're just eliminating dip switches.
Yeah.
It'll recognize. Okay, it'll ask you, what do you have on the outdoor? Okay, I got a 2-ton. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then it'll adjust the fan speed according to what you told it was on the outdoor, and then the rest of it is all the 12 dip switches you never touched anyway. Right? But I like it on the phone because I hate dip switches. I mean, who we've never had a guy on the show that liked dip switches.
I've checked a few that I shouldn't have checked, and be like, oh damn it, there's the heat strip again, or whatever it's called, or whatever it is, like, oh, you don't have a 15K heat strip in here, like you don't have any heat strip, like check your dip switches.
So what was you talking about, Rhydon? What?
So I've seen the EVCOM brand, and I just don't know. I don't know who makes that or who they're a sub brand from.
I believe it's York.
Is it okay? Because it looks it's the same color as Guardian.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's all a sub brand of York.
Yep, it is. Yeah. Or JCI, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Since I'm on the rep side now, like all this merging, I can't keep up with who makes what, who's put, who's what products what now, and they bought them out. And
like I was just talking to somebody, I was like, okay, well, yeah, American Standard makes Train. And they're like, no, Train bought them out. Now Train makes American Standard. I was like, okay, so it's the same stuff anyway.
Well, where does Ingersoll Rand come in?
Yeah, I think they're the parent
company.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, it's like, I can't keep up with all that, man. Yeah.
Well, that's
we're removing heat. That's what we're doing.
I mean, everybody's owned by somebody.
I don't think that, nobody's really reinventing the wheel when it comes to that equipment. So it's like, okay, so if you're not really familiar, guess what? You got to open up the manual, right? And then you go in, you install it as regular. If you have a problem, then you open up the manual, or you just do that first and you don't run into any problems. Simple as that.
Now I got to, so since he brought up the read the effing manual, if you were paying attention,
RTFM.
That's it. So if you're paying attention, your HVAC tactical discount code is Flynn10. FLYNN10. So mark that down, everybody. Flynn10.
Flynn10.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, HVAC Tactical. Yep. And I go
and that's on one of his shirts. So
yeah. Well, and the picture of it that's posted in our stuff last week is you with that shirt on. So that was my foreshadowing for this. Anyway.
So tell us a little bit about the hot block and the golden ticket.
Yes.
How cool was all that, right?
I mean, it's been like 2 years in the making. Like I just posted it. I took a picture. I was soldering something in a apartment complex. So I was like, okay, I'm going to keep this valve because it's holding and it's good. It looks good. So I'm going to protect that valve. I have to unsweat this 90 and, put a press fitting on it or whatever. And I edited out the robot guy on it and put my logo on it. And in the caption, I said, you should put my logo on it, and I tag solder weld. So 2 years down the line, they're like, Lance was like, okay, we're going to do it now. I was like, oh, awesome. Yes, let's do it. Because I use it all the time and, put my face on it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a sweet product, man.
Oh, yeah.
I seen you at AHR, was it last year? This year?
I think it was Orlando. I did it with it on my hand. Yep.
On your hand? Yeah, that's a...
Yep, and then I had just reposted one of Doc doing it up at, was it Simpax in Canada?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mike's done it. Reefer Guy's done it. So I was like, yeah, let me do that.
Yeah, I met Lance and I was doing some factory training in Birmingham, and we were going through that big school out there. And, I've always seen him on Instagram, and I'm checking out his product. And obviously I'm not in the field, so I can't try it out every day. But I stroll into this room, and there's all these aluminum coils in there. And and they're like, we're going to do some brazing, guys. And I'm like, oh, this will be fun. And there's Lance standing there, and I'm like, oh, sweet.
Nice.
Nice. Got my hat on. Lance, I still hadn't got my trucker camo solder weld hat. That's a sweet hat.
It is a sweet hat.
But yeah, there he is. And man, this dude could sell ice to an Eskimo.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I mean, it's honestly easy to sell something that works.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's yeah. My dad used to always tell this vacuum salesman joke, right? This vacuum salesman strolls up, and he's like, "This vacuum will pick up all that. If it'll pick up all that dog shit on the floor, you can have it." The guy's like, all right, go ahead, let it rip. Plugs it in. The guy's got no power. He didn't pay his power bill. So, my God, the old vacuum salesman.
Oh man.
Yeah, Lance is. He started going through his pitch, man, and we started brazing. That aluminum rod he's got, which. It's gonna happen, right? We're gonna have to start. I know you're not in service. I don't guess you do a lot of service, but we're gonna have to start repairing some aluminum, man, down the road. This whole swapping stuff is gonna kind of run out, and and I've brazed some aluminum before, but the temperature at which aluminum just disintegrates and then the rod melts has been too close.
Yeah.
Until he got his out, right? I can't ever remember that other brand, but it's a fine line. That other brand, man, you're like, you're good, and then the coal's just gone. Like, shit, now I got a 2-inch hole here, and now we got to change the coal. Like,
damn it.
Yep. And
no, his stuff is incredible.
Yep. I think it's 600 his melts, and aluminum's like 1100, so you got plenty of time there.
Yeah.
Just with some map gas or whatever. But,
yeah, that's all he needs. That's all he's been demoing everything with, map gas.
Yep. Just map gas.
Now, see, Cajun Joe was a massive map gas fan back in the day because he would just hook that little thing on his belt and go to town. Cajun Joe. I was going to say Cajun Joe's my dad, Mike. We talk about him all the time.
Nice.
What's your brazing setup? Your go-to just.
So I'm just ripping,
whether it's big job or small jobs.
A B tank and the solder weld round rods.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I grew up on a B tank.
Yep.
Forever.
What tip what do you run on that?
My guys now.
I think it's a 14. A14.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Yeah, the guy that I started with, he was a B tank guy, and I trained on oxyacetylene. But then I've got some, we had a turbo torch rep come out, and just I guess it's self lighting kind of. I I can't remember all the names of it, but same thing, just settling tank.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like the air settling mixture for the straight tank?
Yeah, the little small.
Yeah.
It's super loud. Jesus. Not that it matters, but it's just like when it fires up, man, it's a lot. Yeah, but there's it's whatever you get used to.
Yeah. And I went to a few trainings and trained on some oxyacetylene, but it's like, especially, if we're bringing it up in an attic or there's certain situations where like, damn, I gotta carry these 2 tanks. It sucks.
Well, and I don't know how many times if you're like get a cramp and you like lean in, you just put a hole in the pipe. Like,
yeah, there's a fine line. It's very hot. Yep.
Well, it's got that piercing kind of. You don't set your flame right. You're poking a hole in the pipe.
So what's probably one of the coolest install stories you can remember? Like, what's one that kind of just changed the game for you that made you say, yes, this is definitely the right move for me to be in this career and do this thing?
Oh, now you got me thinking. I mean, I've always been a boiler guy, right? So it's just like when you start getting better and better and better, and you take that step back, and you're like, damn, that looks awesome. Like you're pretty much in it. Like I worked this hard for this feeling and satisfaction. So I mean, might as well keep going. I'm making an honest living here, so
right.
Yeah. But as far as a singular job, I think it was a compilation of all of it, because I learned boilers because I did service for 5 years before I did install. So, I mean, service was fun. I mean, my first boss threw me in a truck after a year of zero experience. He was like, yeah, go fix this. Actually, so it actually wasn't an install. It was a service thing. So as soon as my first boss said, okay, you're going to get in that truck and you're going to do it. And I was like, dude, I have like a year experience. I haven't been doing anything. He's like, yeah, just go run these calls. If you run into anything, then call me. And the one time I was looking at, I think it was like a Lennox furnace, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I called him, and I was like, dude, I'm looking at a Lennox furnace. This is going on. I forget the actual problem, but he rattled off the model number. I was like, dude, I want to be that good. Like, I want to be that smart. I want to be that good. Like, and that's where it all pretty much clicked.
So what did you do? I mean, what's your background? I mean, what did you do before HVAC?
I went to college. I have a BA in criminal justice. Through high school, I lifeguarded, and through college, I lifeguarded in the summers. But yeah, I went right from school into HVAC.
Yeah, it's a good trade, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things to get into in this industry. It's insane.
Yeah,
every time I turn around, there's just something else.
Yeah, it really depends on what kind of path you want to take, because there's residential, there's commercial, there's industrial, there's anything really you want. There's BMS, there's all building controls, and like, it's crazy. You can do in this field, you can do literally whatever you want.
So much.
Yep.
Right.
I don't think people even realize how many different paths there are. I know we're talking about it, but like even when Dennis and I went to AHR our first time, it was just kind of like, oh, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I walked around for an hour and I didn't recognize anything. I thought this was a heating and air show. Like, what the hell's going on in here?
It's like, I've been lost in this rooftop for 5 minutes. How do I get
out? 20-ton rooftop, yeah.
They had in Atlanta, they had that what was it, a 210 ton we were just walking through? Jesus.
Mega.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you get over there in the tool area, and I'm like, just leave me over here. I'll be over here all day. Of course, I'm stoked about the one coming up, man. I mean, I feel like what stinks is when you get out of the, like, for me, getting out of the field, it's so much harder to keep up with it, man. I mean, if you're not walking into a supply house every day and putting your hands on it and trying tools out, it's one of those trades that the industry will just pass you by.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get out of it for, a couple months and you're like, God, what happened?
Yeah, I think the transition from, in the field to maybe an office or a supervisor or whatever there's a fine line where you're just like, oh, you're so far removed from the field. You're like, damn, like, I remember doing this, but how long ago was that?
Yeah.
Right. Now, I will say tech support in the summertime, tech support, sitting at a desk, taking tech calls. When I got home, man,
it's draining.
Like I ran like 30 calls that day. I just didn't drive around.
Yeah.
My brain was just fried. I mean, literally, it's just,
Yeah.
It's crazy. You're not driving around, but it's the same feeling. You get home, you're exhausted, and you're like, God, I didn't do anything physically today, but
mentally
fixed a lot of units, but I just didn't, go anywhere. But so, I mean, what'd you think about service? I mean, what's your pick? Obviously,
so I love
out old, putting in new. I mean,
yeah, I love install, just because of the wow factor is really what it is, because the customers, 90% of the customers know exactly what they have, exactly what's in their house already, and they come down to something completely different. So that's awesome. But I mean, on the service side, it's just like, in being able to make their current system work on, because they're like, oh, well, this thing has been amazing for how many years, and now we have an issue. Like, okay, well, let's get it taken care of. So that kind of stuff. The only thing that got me about service is the driving around.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And the
That's a
like
whole
quote
other
unquote
animal.
downtime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm trying to think of who it is. He's in the group with the all the cartoon faces. But he posted one the other day with the diamond plate, and it's cut out and it labeled everything.
Yep. Aaron.
Yep.
Aaron Bond. Yep.
The mic drop on that. I mean, what was going on there? I know you saw that.
Oh yeah. I reposted it too. He just like
that was ridiculous.
Yeah, laser stamped or whatever the diamond plate, and like drew all of his gas pipe behind. So everything was like, boiler, furnace, fireplace, range, all that kind of stuff was all labeled on that diamond plate. That was damn cool.
Yeah, I scroll. I'm like, is this where we're going? Is this what we're doing?
That's custom.
Now, so let's go into that a little bit. So do you get, I know Jeff was like, we got customers calling in. Where is this going? I mean, do you have homeowners calling in like, look, Flynn's got to come do my stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely people that have asked me on, through Instagram, like, hey, what's going on? Like, are you doing work? I was like, no, just call the company and request me if that's what that's what you want to do. And, then we get hits from that. So, and I'm like, oh, you're the guy that messaged me, or, they tell me like, we're the people that message you, and they're like, oh, this is awesome. So it's very cool.
I love that where you guys work, they've embraced you guys being able to use that as another means to reach people in a positive way, because not everywhere does that.
No.
Of course, we follow that company too.
Yep.
And Some of those posts are hilarious. That is that the owner's face on there?
It is. Yep.
Little, that's hilarious with the little cape on.
Twice I've gotten people ask me if that was me. I'm like, no, that's not. Nope. Like, I have a beard. I might be balding, but I have a beard.
Hey, I've been balding for it's my senior year. So, what's your pick? You like residential, commercial?
As far as installs, the residential stuff is cool, but once you start, crossing that fine line of residential and commercial boilers, that's where the fun starts. Like, where you're doing like some light commercial stuff where you can still press everything and everything be really good, and I like that kind of stuff. I'm trying to veer more towards that, so hopefully they can get me.
What's your BTU size where you kind of are blurring your line there? Like, how big boiler are we talking?
I've done 500,000 BTU steam boiler in a residential house. That was insane. Yep.
Jeez,
it's a big ass house.
I know. So actually, the year that I got picked for Rigid Experience, that I climbed up on that boiler, on the old boiler, and just grabbed my 3 foot and my 2 foot and took a picture. I was like, yeah, what the hell? I'll submit my thing. So that's me. I took a picture standing on that 500,000 BTU boiler before I ripped it out and put a new one in. So that was cool. I think we just did, actually Jeff was on the job. Jeff and I did a 500,000 hydronic boiler. So in an apartment complex.
Is he getting more into, I know when we had him on the show, I don't think he was a big boiler guy yet, but he was wanting you to
to teach him. Yeah,
show him the rope. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's tough because it's the money aspect. So you have 2 lead guys on a job. It's
right.
It has to be priced accordingly for Jeff to learn that. But I really think that if he does go into that it can open just a whole new level of things for him.
How long have y'all worked together? I think we asked him, but I'm trying to remember now. That was almost 30
I've
shows
been at the company for a year and some change now. So
okay,
yeah.
So for some reason, I thought you guys had worked together even longer than that.
I think we've just
crossed paths a lot.
Each other. Yeah.
Of course, we didn't get a chance to ask Rachel this. I know she'd give you some shit today.
Yes, she did.
We told her show wasn't being posted this week.
No.
I thought she was going to hang up on us.
I know. She's like, what?
I'm like, well, we got these discount codes and all this. Like, we can't just,
It's like I went and got all professional with it. And now I got to deliver.
Yeah, but we couldn't ask her this. I don't know why we didn't. I guess we could have. But what? We always like to ask guys what kind of critters you came across.
We didn't ask her, did we? God,
I know Jeff's turkey story
that's a good one.
It's almost iconic. The way he told it, like he didn't even get excited about it, but the way he delivered it, it was just money. Like,
I mean, really, the only bigger. I mean, I've found dead birds and dead stuff and dead squirrels and flues. I walked into a basement with, because the steam boiler outlet on the bottom is just wide open. So there was a few dead squirrels directly below this steam boiler that I went to service. But other than that, I mean, snakes.
I'm talking about stuff like chasing you out, man.
Oh, I mean, snakes. I've come across a few snakes where I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that today. Like bigger ones, not just like garden snakes, because that don't bother me. Like the bigger ones, like maybe 3 foot long ones. I'm like, nope.
What kind of snakes are you typically running into up there?
not much. It's usually just out west. So West Jersey, like we're like toward once you get in toward Pennsylvania, that's where like you get some stinks.
Yeah, start getting into some real woods.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But other than that,
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you get into the residential heating and air side, we've had some guys on this show with some horrible critter stories. Dogs.
I did have a dog bite me, actually. That was fun.
See?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess the dog's not a critter, but it is, I guess.
Yeah.
It counts.
It
can count when it rips your pants off.
I was actually we were doing a bathroom rough when I first started, and I was carrying two 10-footers of 3-inch PVC up the stairs. And meanwhile, the homeowner was like, well, we have a full-size poodle, but it's a rescue, so it's kind of weary, but it's going to be put away at all times, so you don't have to worry about it. The kid went into the kitchen because it was in the kitchen. It was blocked off. So the kid went into the kitchen, left the door open, and the dog, I guess, saw me. I didn't see it, and I was walking up the stairs, like just bit me on the back of the leg. I was like, "What the hell?" And I couldn't drop the PVC, so I just went going. And at the end of the whole transaction, no apology, no nothing. Like, oh, I told my kid to lock that dog up, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
Right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep.
The rescue, that's where they get,
Yep.
You got to watch the rescue. When he said rescue, I'd have been like, man, no.
Yeah, make sure that thing's in the basement.
When I did service, man, it was, you come to the door and there's the dog's trying to get out.
Yep.
Oh, he's fine. He's fine. He doesn't bite. I'm like, well, he doesn't bite you.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't know me, right? Like, I mean,
are you okay with dogs? Yeah, I'm okay with dogs as long as they don't bite me. Like.
Yeah, that was my. That was
exactly.
That was it. That's what I said every time. Yeah, I'm cool with dogs if it doesn't bite me.
Most of them are good though. I'm a big dog person, so I embrace.
Oh yeah, Rhydon's got some. Well, you can usually hear his story in the background.
Riker's actually not in here this evening. We had some friends over, so Chris and our friends are watching a movie, and the dogs are all in there.
Nice. What kind of dogs do you have?
All schnauzers.
Okay. Cool.
Schnauzers.
My wife is allergic to the world, so those little guys are hypoallergenic and they don't shed, so they're kind of perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And ours are all little ones, about 12 pounds. So me and my manly self, my little drinking buddies.
So you got any kids, Flynn?
I do. I have my boy just turned 15 months.
Oh, is he going to be an HVACer?
He better be. Better be.
He's growing up and the wrench in his hand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got him the little
crew onesie
wrenches.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, I mean, I think this we got to get kids to look at both sides, right? I'm not going to go on here and say you got to go into a trade because it's not for everybody.
Yeah,
but I still think, especially in the town I'm in, I always ask my son all the time. He's 17 and he's a music kid, but I was like, do they talk about trades or anything? He's like, man, that word don't come up in my school.
Not at all.
I mean, shop class, maybe auto mechanics, but it's just the kids are still just taking it. You might get one kid here and there that's like took that class because that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
But there's no support from the school for him to do that, right? No, it's like,
it's tough. Because there's
I think we don't have any workforce. Like, where's everybody at?
Yeah,
no, and
they're not
bad on every side of the industry.
Yeah, and they're not actually giving you an option. So if it were like, okay, these classes are available if you want to take them, but it's not like that. Like when I went to high school, it was just go to college. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to college, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a senior, I was like, 4 more years of
this
this?
sucks.
No, I want to work. Like, I'm ready to work. Like, what can I do with my hands? Like, I don't enjoy this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not, I don't want to go 4 more years of this.
No.
I mean, can I weld something? Can I build something? Can I wire something together? Like,
yeah, I wish that was an option. Just because. I always say, I was like, damn, I wish I'd joined the trade earlier. But you end up being like, well, obviously things happen for a reason. So,
right.
I obviously went down this path. Like, if I did go sooner, what would I, where would I be now? Kind of thing. So, I think where I'm at is I'm perfectly good with. So, I have I have a college education and I'm in the trade. So it's just like, goes to show.
Yeah. Now, have you looked down the road? Have you thought about, at the end of the day, install and some of the stuff is physically taxing.
Yeah.
Is there something you'd like to get into in this trade down the road?
I mean,
somewhat out of the field.
I'd love to do like designing systems. So like, be like a, kind of subcontractor or whatever, and, go in and say, okay, well, this is not a standard swap. We need your assistance on, what to do here, that kind of stuff. Yep. So consulting is what the word is. Just because I love like just looking at a job and figuring out different ways of doing things. Like, yes, there's, what's practical, and to get a job done in a day. But also there is, if you have that time, you can also do this kind of thing.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it's maybe my next step is an install manager position or something like that. But, yeah.
Well, then you're going to be going out of these jobs and you're going to be like, dude.
Yep.
You cannot do that like that. The guy's like, look, man, I'm just trying to get...
You're like, look, this is how we do it the right way.
That's going to be so hard for you to do that.
Oh, yeah. I think so. But we'll see.
Well,
I'm going to ride it till the wheels fall off, so...
Right?
Yep.
So I asked Jeff this, and on these installs, right, because I've priced jobs, I've been a tech and went on the kitchen table and give them a quote, and when either one of y'all two roll up on these jobs, are they priced differently? I mean, they gotta be, right?
I mean, I think they're all as far as,
I mean, material wise, right? Like there's a lot of extra material.
Yep.
Not that it's not needed, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we see you guys watch and use every day that is not on everybody's everyday
not
truck.
Regular. Yeah. I think that it's all factored in as part of, a kind of company-wide thing. So, we have, obviously, Jeff and I have free reign of basically what we get to use. So, I make boiler lists. I actually have to do a steam boiler list. I'm doing the 200,000 one on Monday, so I have to make a list for that. But it's like, and they don't mind. The manager called me today. He was like, hey, that boiler's going on Monday, so you want to make a fitting list for me? And I was like, yeah, no problem. I have no problem doing that. And just
Flynn's like, oh yeah, I got a fitting list for you.
now, when you're saying you got to do your fitting list, so when you get assigned an install, do you go then look at it, do your own evaluation aside from what the salesperson did, and then go back, make a list, and schedule the date you do it, or how does that process work for you?
I mean, most of the time we get a decent amount of stuff delivered, so they're going off just pictures of what the salesman sold. So
Gotcha.
they, give a blanket kind of list, and then if I see anything out of the ordinary, I'm gonna because they drop off a material and equipment, and they'll leave. So if I need anything additional, then they will bring it out and then pick up the trash for us and then be on the way.
Now, do you have a certain sales guy that always tries to give you jobs and you always make sure his stuff is on point so that he gets good reviews too? Or how do you guys do that?
I think I don't play favorites. I'm just doing the job that I know is right. So,
well, no, I guess I didn't mean it like that, but I'm saying, like, this is my buddy Steve. He's the sales guy. He always tries to make sure Mike gets a cool job to do.
I don't think the salesmen pick it. Like, if someone asks me personally, or it's like a boiler, I'm definitely getting it. So it doesn't. Yeah, I'm gonna do the best anyway. But yeah, I mean, yeah, everybody like once because and it's pretty cool because our reviews are basically call into the office to finish. So people are actually super pleased with everything that when they first call in to make an appointment, to the service guy, to the salesman, to the install, to the finish. So it's start to finish like a good review. It's pretty cool.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, so I got to ask on these meeting days, right? Do the other guys sitting in the room, I mean, you got new guys coming on, they're like asking about the Instagram stuff, or, I mean, you get some new guys like, what do y'all got going on? I see y'all on here doing this. And I mean, does that come up in the, kind of water cooler talk?
I mean, as far as the meetings, like our install meetings are just basically going over like things to watch out for, things to be wary of, because I think our team is like super strong, so we are very good at delivering, and every team, and that's actually was one of my main goals at another company I worked for, that everybody, so you can send somebody to a job and you wouldn't know what crew did it. That's how uniform it would be. So everybody's putting out quality work, so it's pretty awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's
what
so it sounds like y'all got a good culture there. Yeah. I mean,
yep, everybody's feeding off each other, so very cool.
Sweet. So you got anything you want to throw out there, man? I don't want to keep you up too late.
I mean, I'm just ready for boiler season.
Ready for boiler season.
Yeah, I'm done with the AC.
Ready to watch and experience it with you from my
I mean, I see you get into some mini splits with like 5 and 6 heads. That's
So
is that big up there?
Oh,
some of them really old houses,
definitely.
You can't get ductwork anywhere. Yeah,
yep.
I mean,
yep. And my take on mini splits is that it's so much work for so little reward. Because you go, you look inside, like, oh, there's a head in this room. Oh, there's a head in this room. Oh, there's maybe a floor mat in this one. Wow. Like, and then you're up on the ladders.
Tons of piping.
Yeah, man. It's, I do them, and I do every
it's just
single
not good
job
for the gram, man.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
you
not
gotta,
good for the gram.
Yeah. Jeff makes them look like, something else, so I can't compete with Jeff on mini splits.
Well, all you got is pictures of outside.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody ever sees the indoors.
Well, no, it's just a head, like you said. It's like, there's a head hanging on the wall. Sweet.
Yep. But, yeah, we do a lot of
It took 2 hours to get the piping to it, but
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine y'all are running into plaster walls and all kind of
I'm sure
stuff.
I just got ripped like ripped my wrist on a plaster wall in Jersey City, and my thumb still hurts. So, did a 5-head mini split in Jersey City, and it looked like a thin alleyway. Couldn't park on the other side, and this and that. Like it's
Yeah, some of the I always look in the background when he's, some of you guys' mini splits. I'm looking at the background because I was in remodeling. My dad was a builder, and I'm looking at the house. I'm like, God, everything in that house would be hard. Like there's just so much, it's just the age, and they've added on, 7 times.
Yeah,
and
7 roof times. Roof.
Right.
Roof
You go through a wall, and it's like, oh, here's a random block wall. I didn't know that was in here. But I mean, down here, our mini splits are in a sunroom or a bonus room.
Okay.
On a new house that they just didn't run enough ductwork to the other side of the house.
Yeah.
It's poke it out the wall, drop down. Putting it in, every room, it's just, I don't know. It just hadn't made it down here.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm out of the loop, but I just hadn't seen it.
I mean, it's a lot of the like older historic homes and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, where they never had AC. They've only had window units, and they're finally biting the bullet on getting it.
Do you run into a bunch of like, speaking of older homes, harder to deal with? Do you do a lot of like high velocity stuff for historic homes or anything like that?
I have in the past, but here we don't really mess with them a bunch. Like I haven't done a high velocity in over a year. So, I mean, they work.
That.
Yeah, they're very finicky, especially the new space packs. So you got to get, you got to be on. You got to have enough duct runs. You got to have, you have to make sure that there's enough air out of that trunk line for it to work properly.
I sold 4 or 5 of them when I lived in South Carolina that all got put in like remodel historic homes in Charleston. And I've been selling in Charlotte for almost a decade, and I think I've quoted 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've never run across
it's been forever.
I think the mini split craze
is taking over a lot of that.
Is taking over, yep. Yeah. Because I think that was like the transition, really. Like everyone found out about high velocity, and then they were like, well, we don't want this mini split on our wall. We don't want a big block on our wall, so we're going to get a high velocity. But now it's all trending, so everyone's like, yeah, let's do a mini split.
Well, then they looked at the high velocity system was $40,000, and the mini split was $35,000.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the amount of construction that has to take place.
Oh yeah.
So we always ask guys on the show towards the end, what do you listen to podcast wise, if you do, or who do you follow on Instagram? I know you threw some out. Yep. For guys to just, let's say they're just getting into this, maybe they're a fresh installer or service guy. Mm-hmm. Throw out some stuff, some shout outs of who you like to follow.
I've been on, for podcasts, I've been on Gary's HVAC Know-It-Alls podcast. I've done one with Mike Mayberry. Who else? I'm drawing a blank now. Damn it. Yeah, I've been on a couple podcasts, but it's all, it's all good stuff. Like it's all out there. So if you search it, you will find it. We met the HVAC jerks at the awards. Who else? I'm going to be on, what's the other one? Uncensored, HVAC Uncensored, shortly. But yeah, it's all good stuff.
What do you, when you're at home and you're scrolling through Instagram, what do you like to look at install wise? Like, who do you follow? What pops up the most on there?
Obviously Jeff, because we talk more often, so Instagram knows that we're actually friends on a
Thanks, algorithm.
Instagram level.
Yeah. Damn, big brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just a bunch of. I know George. I'm friends with personally. George the plumber. I follow a lot of plumbing stuff because that's what I used to do too.
Dude, I'm hooked on this plumbing stuff.
Yeah, it's cool to watch.
I know I get on plumbers on here. You know, I'm like, look, I'm an HVAC guy, but George the plumber, he's popping up a lot on my stuff.
Yeah, I actually helped him do his boiler at his house. So.
Sweet.
Yeah, man. That was good.
I've got to get one of these rigid hats, man. These things are sweet.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to listen, and I'm over here scrolling through here, looking at some stuff. Yeah, I never thought it would be so much fun watching somebody unclog a drain, but it's like
satisfying.
I can't stop watching that.
Yep.
Well, cool, man. Well, appreciate you coming on the show.
Absolutely.
You're killing it out there.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Can't get enough of the installs. I love watching that. And hopefully everybody else out there got some inspiration from you.
Yeah.
I
hope so.
And yeah, if you're out there, you need a little ream help, man, you can hit me up.
Yeah. You need a little info on new product that's on its way. I'll help you with that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Send it all over.
Well, cool, man. Well, have a good night, and yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
See you, man.